Welcome to Elite Exams, everyone. And my name is Omosefe Christina. I'm one of the doctors who support IMGs who need extra support, building that capability and consultation skills towards their exams. One of the things I always talk about is well-being. This is because if you're not taking care of yourself, if you are not resting, if you are not taking measures to make sure that your mental health is all right, it will affect your performance in the exams. So we usually talk about well-being and why it's important to your interpersonal skills as a person, and that matters in real life, because if you're stressed, if you're tired, you snap at your relatives, your kids or your spouse, you snap at your friends because you're just tired and irritable. Now you can imagine that if that is in exam or in clinical practice, you don't want to snap at patients because that's unprofessionalism. So you're mindful of that. But then poor well-being or being stressed will then show in other ways. So active listening may go down because you just want to move on to another case, or you fail to acknowledge things that would improve your IPS or relating to patients just because you just want to do the case and go. And this is a reflection of why doctors who are burnt out actually don't do well in clinical practice. So we want you to be mindful of this. And one of the videos, free resources we shared, also cover this part. So just a bit of recap why well-being is important. So if you're stressed, you're going to have poor IPS. So it's important that you are taking care of yourself, seeking the relevant help depending on your needs. We are all GP trainees. We've been doctors for years. I'm sure we know all of this. Because if without that well-being, you can't be your authentic self. You can't say the right phrases. You end up just being formulaic. You end up being copying and pasting because you just want to get up and go. So we advise you that please take care of yourself, take care of your mental health, because that really affect your performance in the exams. Some of you may have been working with me since last year, so you might be familiar with some of them. But we're also introducing a new feature in Elite Exams. So usually what we've had is a 5-day masterclass tutorials, where it's 5 days, 4 cases in a week, 4 cases per day in a week. So that's over 20. And then we give consultation templates for other cases as well. So it's a marathon and it's fast paced for doctors who just want to catch up. But if you're starting your exams, it might be a bit of a struggle, because this is for people who are already practicing and just want to hone their exam skills. So the 5-day masterclass helps you to master the things you would not otherwise think about and to understand what is required of the exam. But we received some feedback, and shout out and thank you to my colleagues who give feedback after the session. And some of the feedback was like, oh, it's really fast paced. I'm struggling to grapple some of this information because some of the tactics, the technique or the strategies, some of the doctors are hearing it for the first time. And then you have to now go back into your clinical practice. So what we've tried to do is slow it down, where we are giving you the same support, information, and clinical knowledge, but over a period of time. So drum roll, everyone. We now have SCA role play bootcamp. So it's without the lectures, but focusing only on role play. So each day you're going to have 2-3 cases focusing on a team, and we'll talk about this a bit later. We also, everyone knows or for those who are new, we have the SCA Masterclass, which offers 2 to 6 and 3 or 6 cases, depending on your preference. So a mini mock, half mock, which is 6, a mini mock, which is 3 cases. We also have one-to-one coaching sessions. So if you sign up for 1 hour, 2, or as much as 12, you get that 1 hour first, but then we now book in the other hours 12 times. So let's say you sign up for 12 sessions, that will be 1 hour each, but 12 sessions. So it's now spaced out, either 1 per week for 12 weeks or 2 per week or 3 per week, but we cover your 12-hour session depending on your working preference, so how you want your sessions to be. So I've actually worked with a doctor who booked in a lot of sessions. I wanted it 3-4 times a week because the exam's coming up really soon, and we had to work with the doctor's preference for how the doctor wanted his session. So we are flexible and here to support you. And all the videos and PowerPoint and consultation templates, examples of which you would see today, we always upload them on the website. So if you do not want to sign up for the class, but you want to do a bit of your self-learning at your own pace, that's what the Elite membership is for, where you can watch the videos, go back and practice, come back and watch again, and then pick another topic, and then how you choose to then manage your own self-learning. Now, if you're signing up with us for the tutorials, the mocks, or the coaching, and also now the role play bootcamp, we would give you full access to Elite membership. So while Elite membership only just covers your videos and recording, anyone who signs up with us for any of these other sessions get access to our videos and platform as well. So if you've signed up with us and this was missed, please just message and email us, and we'll look into it and give you the right resources that you need. So why do we put all these resources together? It's so that you are not spinning around in circles. It's so that we want you to have the right information early, especially because we are IMGs and we struggle with the words, with the phrases and the things to say. So we put these things together so that the data gathering part, the IPS, the holistic management, the clinical care, the little things that we may ignore or don't get to do in everyday clinical practice, we bring it together to form a strong consultation where you're putting your best foot forward for the exam. So all these resources would help you have a focused consultation structure, understanding how you apply the consultation models, build that authentic interpersonal skills so that you're not being formulaic. We also have a slide online on how to get a clear pass in clinical management, where every possible options, like a basket, we have it like a, think of it like a basket. Every possible options or things you would say to a patient will have this available in a teaching. That way, when you look at the case, you say, okay, what's in my basket of hard tricks can I pull out to use in this case? So all these resources are there to help you in your learning, because we want to make sure that you are practicing holistically, you are showing the examiner you understand the practice management aspect of things. So when a patient comes to you and has a new diagnosis, and the patient is going to be on a register, for example, depression. We know patients go on a depression register, so this is the admin part of practice management. How do you then communicate that to the patient? How do you communicate that the patient is going to expect a phone call to come in for invite or reviews? These are the things that we talk about, including the must-have that you need for your exams. So before we move on, let's just do a group check, everyone. In the chat, so we always want you to know where the chat is, because I will be referring to the chat, picking your questions, picking your replies when we start the sessions, and your feedback as well in the chat. So we want to get to know you. Where are you in your practice right now? So are you just starting? I know we say this webinar is mostly for introduction for those who are just starting. So in the chat, everyone, this is important. Where are you in your role play? Where are you in your group practice? Are you just starting? Have you been practicing? Or is your exams coming up shortly? Because this helps me tailor the information that you're going to get today. And the role play at the end is very important. And it's a high yield case. And so this is something that we want to use to show you the common mistakes that people make. So is there anybody here who has not started role playing? You are in ST3, you've not started role playing. I know you may not want to identify. Oh yeah, that's fine. You just started ST3 in February. You're going to start ST3 in February. That's fine. Hold on to your seats, because we've got something here for you as well. So before we start the session, we talked about watching the pre-session videos, both of them on the website, because what we are talking about today builds up on these two videos. So if you didn't have time to watch the video, it's free on the website. We've shared the link in the group. It's going to help. The SCA game plan talks about the resources that I used, and in the slides you would see links to YouTube videos. Shout out to many of the doctors who have been ahead of this game, doing tutoring and support long before me. Some of them have YouTube videos, some have paid platforms, some have paper resources that you can download and use. So for me, using resources was a mix and match affair. I wasn't just in one group. I wasn't just focused on one study tactics. I was listening to lectures. I was watching YouTube videos. I was listening to some of the videos like its podcast while I'm driving to work, simply because I was learning the different things that other doctors do, because this exam is very subjective. There is no perfect consultation. So how you do something might be different to another. So it's always important that you learn from someone else rather than just focused on your own style. Because if you're making a mistake, you will know. Or there might be something that you could have picked up on if you just listen to what another person has done. So in this exam, it's not about reading just the books. It's as much as practicing and learning from others, and they learn from you as well for your exam. So thank you, everyone.